Hello. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and your best boss. Take five. So I recently I was a guest on a podcast, a really great podcast called Course Lab. And if you look in however you're receiving this, you should see a connection to that podcast. I hope you'll give it a listen. And it was actually about how I developed my Best Boss Bootcamp course, which is our soup to nuts management and leadership development course intended for newish managers and senior leaders. Let me know if you'd like some more information on that. So anyway, with this podcast, I was thinking about the things that made this course work and seeing that there are really some good lessons in bringing and leading a project like creating the Best Boss Bootcamp and how it overlaps and relates to how we lead others. So I wanted to share three lessons with you. The first is paying attention to when you're supervising people, when you're leading your company, your business, your team, to pay attention to two kinds of motivators, the internal and the external motivators. The internal motivators are really appealing to your direct reports why, their internal why, WHY. What is it that really compels them to do their best work in the particular organization that you work with? Identify that and leverage that. Remind them of what their why is, and whatever you can do to create a job environment that really supports that why for them, you are going to get extraordinary results and productivity from them. So I'm thinking about with my Best Boss Bootcamp. So that's the internal why, but you also have to pay attention to the external motivators, right? So the internal why is the internal motivation. The external motivators are those things that we typically think about, like salary level, bonuses, little things here and there that really move somebody forward because of their external motivation. Now we know the research is super duper clear on the internal motivator is the more powerful motivator. It's what we want to pay attention to, but not to the extent of excluding external motivators. So external motivators are those things that you can do that really incentivize your people to give their best performance. And it can be little things. That's the thing. You can do so many little things to really get them moving. So don't be afraid of gamifying to an extent, a person's job, saying, when you hit this particular goal or you do this particular thing, let me take you out to coffee. Let's go out and let me treat you to ice cream. In the Best Boss Bootcamp, every course that we have, every lesson that we have, I give away a free book for folks that stay through the entire live portion of the course. So again, think about your internal and external motivators. Number two is, how can you build in accountability with your folks? We're not talking about the old traditional accountability of, you got to do this because this is what's expected of you. That's all built in to everybody's job description and how they do work. But instead, think about how can we build in some soft accountability. Remember, when we think about accountability, we're really talking about accountability to oneself. Right? So if I make a commitment to give my best at my job, which is essentially what most of us do when we sign on to onto a new role, well, then what can I do to really scaffold around that accountability to myself? So what can you, dear manager, dear leader, do to build in some scaffolding around accountability for your people? It may be checking in with an accountability partner, which is what we do in the Best Boss Bootcamp, where you check in with an accountability partner and say, this is how I'm progressing on the things that I've committed to that I want to be held accountable to myself. So again, we're not thinking about hardcore accountability. We're thinking about the softer accountability. How can you build in softer accountability into the work that your direct reports do for you? And then thirdly, again, with the Best Boss Bootcamp, the interview really got me thinking about how important it is to fly your freak flag when you're a manager or a leader. So maybe that rests a little bit, that doesn't rest well with you, but think about, instead of your freak flag, how about your superpower, your own fingerprint, your personality? How can you interject that in a way that really differentiates you from other supervisors, other bosses, where people really turn to you because of your vulnerability and your authenticity? In the Best Boss Bootcamp, I bring a lot of humor and a lot of insight around what it is to be a gay man and have a lot of fun with that. And by the way, what do gay horses eat every day? Hey! So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me on this Best Boss Take 5. Take good care. Bye now.